Let's get up to more whatnot and adventures with the Whatnot Adventures. Pennsylvania. We're here right outside the men's bathroom, which I used just recently because I had to really bad. Sorry for that too much information, but this is a thing called the Roundhouse. Really pretty building. But this is Lititz Springs Park, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous place. See all the colors here and everything. But we're gonna go over to the spring, and then we're going to check out the railroad station that is down that way, and just some of the other stuff. But yeah, this was I think as early as spring was like 1750s. This started to get used as sort of, it was such a beautiful place that they started to use it for recreation and that type of stuff, because it was a music teacher. Which I'll give you more information, but we might as well do this. Roundhouse is thought to have originally been built as a grandstand on the grounds of the Warwick Racing Track located northeast of Lititz. It was dismantled and reconstructed on its present site in the early months of 1880. The Roundhouse has been used during special events in the park, such as art exhibits, photo exhibits, and hobby shows. Today it is used mainly for storage and park maintenance. But pretty neat place. But yeah, so this has been maintained as a park for well over, I think, 200, almost 270 years, since the mid 1750s. I think it's around 56, and early 1750s, probably a little earlier than that. But the Moravian Church always is the one that maintained this until about 1956. It just got to be too much, because Lititz was founded by Count Zinzendorf, and this was originally supposed to be a Moravian community, and ultimately they wound out allowing other people into the community and all that. But yeah, really quite intriguing. There's a little creek, and you always have lots of duckies. You'll see right underneath the bridge there, the duckies are there. But I'll wind out giving more information as well on this, and you can pause on that. I'm gonna take some pictures of these and then probably read them all, just because that way I'm not running my battery. They have concerts and stuff like that over there. Lititz is just such a neat town. It's sort of like, you know, each of these really unique Pennsylvania towns, like Jim Thorpe, New Hope, Gettysburg, Lititz. There's so many of them, more than you can mention. We'll wind up visiting with this channel, but they all have sort of their own unique reasons, and their tourist attractions, if you will. Let me quick going here. So, this is the spring head up here. In 1855, the steep bank around the spring head was contoured. The three springs were uncovered, flowing from caves to the west. From the bubbling spring, water gracefully flows eastward and is the source of Lititz Run stream. The clear limestone water was believed to heal rheumatism and other ailments. Abraham Beck and his sons Paul and Herbert added the stone tablet to the wall with an inscription, Gottes Brunnen hat Wasser dir Fuhl. God's fountain is never failing. In 1927, a log cabin was built on the top of the hill behind the spring head by Lititz Boy Scout Troops 2 and 3 to be used as a meeting place. It is no longer used today by the Scouts. So let's go down there. You just look at the clear, beautiful water. It's just so neat. I've gone by this place so many times, like a ridiculous amount of times. I guess that's where the cabin used to stand. The chimney is still there, but that's it. That's a sound I could listen to all day. It's beautiful. There's the lion statue up there. Up there then. I got a few duckies, mallard ducks here. Just hanging out. This is where the spring comes out. And you can see there how cool that is that. Yeah, there's the stone there. That's pretty. Look at the duckies there. There's a lady duck and 2 male ducks. Completely unbothered by me. You know, like, this guy's weird, a little ugly, but he's alright. On July 4th, 1906, a music pavilion was dedicated to accommodate BECK's concert band, a well-respected band in Lititz. An original or octagonal-shaped gazebo-style bandstand with lattice sides designed by Paul E. Beck, band director, was built in the area what is now the concession stand. The pavilion became a more fitting facility for not only the Beck concert band but also visiting bands performing in the park on special occasions. The present gazebo built in 2004 as a replica of the 1906 music pavilion was dedicated to the honor and in memory of William B. Acroon for his untiring efforts in support of Lititz Springs Park. The Beck Memorial Band Shell. Built in 1937, the Paul E. Beck Memorial Band Shell has hosted many musical venues and notable celebrations, including the crowning of the Queen of Candles, the highlight of the 4th of July festivities in the park since 1942. Paul E. Beck was the organizer and maestro of the Beck Concert Band. In 1915, he was appointed the Pennsylvania State Supervisor of Music and Art. A Lititz native, Beck became quite renowned for his musical abilities, especially conducting his much-loved patriotic scores. The band shell is the centerpiece of the entertainment in this Lititz Springs Park. An icon of Lititz Springs Park. This is the original line that you're seeing here, just so you have a picture of what it looked like back before it was ruined. The lion's head has been a prominent icon to Lititz Springs Park since 1857. In addition to its beautiful stream, its shaded walkways, and its well-kept natural environment, Lititz Springs Park was enhanced by an elegant carving of a lion's head by one of Lititz natives, Julius Augustus Beck. The carving was strategically placed to the right of the spring head, choosing as his model the world-famous Lion of Lucerne in Switzerland. Beck had hoped to incise all the head, the shoulders, and the forepaws of the king of beasts. However, because of the extreme hardness of the rock ruining his chisels, he abandoned his original plans. Unfortunately, on April 26, 2005, it was discovered that the priceless lion's head carving had been defaced beyond recognition. A special lion's head restoration committee was appointed by the Lititz Spring Park Board of Trustees to determine how the lion's head could be restored. After careful consideration, it was determined by the committee that to restore the lion's head would not be feasible. Realizing the dream of Mr. Beck, it was decided that a full lion, symbolic of the Lion Lucerne, be carved out of granite and placed directly above the original lion's head. This full lion completes Julius Augustus Beck's original dream. And this is symbolic of the Lion of Lucerne once again, dedicated July 2nd, 2006. The last Memorial Day encampment. On Memorial Day, May 31st, 1920, members of the Stevens Post No. 517 of the Grand Army of the Republic met on the Lititz Springs ground for the last time. In recognition of their fallen comrades, the 15 remaining local Civil War veterans set up tents and established a working encampment. Long was the responsibility of Stevens Post No. 517 of the GAR to decorate the graves of all U.S. veterans. It was August 1st, 1919, when officers were elected and a new American Legion post was organized in Lititz. Chartered the following year, the newly named Garden Spot Post 56 took over decorating the graves on Memorial Day. This tradition continues to today. Here we are on the other side of the bridge next to the spring run over here on the right. It really is. This is a beautiful fall day. You can't help but be enamored by this park, just how beautiful it is. We'll be going more and more through Lititz here and showing you everything it has to offer, because it's just such a beautiful town. So much history. See the duckies hopping into the water. A lot of quacking. I think they're sort of unhappy with each other. Making their displeasure known. He was known as a royal quack quack. So I'll have a little bit more information for you guys. I'll film a couple more of these signs and take pictures and then read them. And go from there. So we'll see you in a little bit. The Arched Bridge. In 1856, sandstone from the Furnace Hills north of Lititz was brought to the park grounds by horse and cart and used as coping around the head end of the springs. The stone coping continued eastward to prevent the stream from overflowing and also to contain the natural flow of the water. The beautiful sandstone arch bridge, used by thousands of visitors each year, replaced an arched stone bridge that was built in the late 1700s during the early stages of upgrading the park. It was constructed by hard-working townspeople who had the skills and tools to form a crossing over the Lititz Springs Creek. The Lititz CABOOSE Museum. The Lititz Caboose was purchased by the Lititz Springs Park Board Caboose Committee in 2000. The railway car was restored by Gerhardt Machinery Company of Lititz and dedicated July 1st, 2001. The Caboose Museum is a complementary companion to the replica of the 1884 Lititz Passenger Depot and Express Station, known as the Lititz Welcome Center. A caboose was an office and tool car which was required at the end of all freight trains. It was occupied by the conductor and flagmen who watched over their train in transit from the high seats in the cupola, the center of the caboose. Their jobs and these cars, unfortunately, were lost to modern technology in 1984. Reading Railroad Company introduced these standard or northeastern style cabooses in 1924 and built them through 1948. Other railroad companies copied Reading blueprints to build their cabooses. The steel frame, underframe components to the Lititz caboose were built in Reading car shops and shipped to Elizabethport, New Jersey car shops for completion in May 1942. The Lititz CABOOSE performed 40 years of rail service, 34 years with the Jersey Central Railroad as CNJ 91530, and 6 additional years for Conrail as CR 18878. Prior to coming to Lititz, it was privately owned and resided at Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania from 1985 to 2000. The Lititz Caboose Museum gives visitors a glimpse back to the railroad life of the good old days, untouched by the hands of time. Staffed by volunteers, it is generally open from Memorial Day to Labor Day and on Saturdays in the spring and fall. The Reading Railroad, which originally ran through Lititz, known as Reading and Columbia branch from 1863 to 1976, is very much alive today thanks to the Reading Company Technical and Historical Society, founded in 1976. For more information pertaining to the society, access www.readingrailroad.org. So this fountain here, this plaque, is a dedication plaque to Lititz Springs Post 1463. The Veterans of Foreign Wars and the Ladies Auxiliary, they dedicated this pool right there to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice and those that were willing as well, to our soldiers abroad. Thank you so much for your service and for your sacrifice. The Lititz Springs Park historical markers. The 9 markers placed throughout the park are both a memorial to Sketch Meirigs, also an educational platform of the history of Lititz Springs Parks. Robert Sketch Meirig was born in Lititz in 1923. He spent many childhood days playing in the Lititz Spring Park. In 1942, he joined the U.S. Army. He fought bravely in the Battle of the Bulge and was a survivor of the Malmedy Massacre. After the war, he became a mailman in Lititz and remained on the job for 32 years. Throughout his life, he was an avid collector of Lititz memorabilia. He loved to tell stories about the early days in Lititz and all the town characters he had met. When Sketch passed away in 2007, trust for the Lititz Springs Park was set up in his memory, and many generous donations in his name were collected. Thank you, Robert Sketch Meirig, for your sacrifice, for your time in the military and your service as a postman, and then also the interest that made all this possible here in Lititz Spring Park. And I will say also thank you to the people that have really made such a beautiful park and just such an enjoyable experience, just being able to experience the beauty of that place and just the history of it for coming up on 300 years. And he was one of those individuals that was very, very important to preserving this place and improving it. So thank you, Sketch. The Lititz Springs Park entrance gates. The first entrance to Lititz Springs Park was a small walking path leading off of Maple Street opposite the old brewery. In 1844, a new visitor entrance to the park was opened at Broad Street. It was located on the south side of Lititz Springs Park. Made of wood, the entrance gate had a smaller walking gate to the left. The word Springs was arched over the top. A more sturdy and elaborate iron gate with fencing replaced the wooden structure. The word Lititz Springs were highlighted on its later gate. And in 1957, ravaged by both time and nature, the park required much needed improvements. As a result, the entrance of the park was modernized as we see it today. Here's another one of those bronze plaques of an individual that without whom the park would not exist in its present day. Elmer Holmes Bobst. His generosity, interest in human welfare, and love for the Lititz, his boyhood home, made possible the restoration and development of this park. It was established in 1843 by the Moravian congregation. The park was given to the community of Lititz in 1956. Thank you to Elmer Holmes Bobst, and also to all the individuals, once again, who have so generously given to make this place so beautiful and what it is today, and just be a place that you can go and just enjoy life, experience nature,
and just see the beauty all around us. Thank you.
So here we are. Got a cool caboose here. We're actually a rail station, Wilbur Chocolates right there. It's pretty neat, like downtown here. But here they have Wilbur Chocolate actually has a memorial to the employees who devotedly served their country in World War II. So that's pretty neat. We have up there is the American flag. Dedicated to the honor of all those who served honorably in the armed forces of the United States of America. And then this is the honor roll dedicated to the men of H.O. Wilbur and Sons Incorporated who served their country in the Great War for Democracy, and that's World War I. So that's pretty neat here, but let's go take a look here at the pond here where the little Lititz Spring Creek runs into. Oh, it's just so pretty. I'll read off as many of those signs as I can. There's some more duckies, a whole bunch of them, looking up the creek, and we look down into the pond. How pretty that is.
So I wanted to say thank you at this end of this video for coming along, checking this out. Just a beautiful park. We'll definitely be coming back here again at some point when I know a little bit more about what I'm talking about. I just sort of went to Lititz on a whim and filmed a bunch of different places and really enjoyed myself. Beautiful, beautiful town. So much history that's there. It's definitely worth stopping by the Welcome Center, get a little bit of a grasp what's all there, and then just walk the park. Enjoy the sights and sounds and the smells and experience just a little bit of history. I'm a little off today, so my voice is off because I apparently got a cold from my family, but this was a cool experience to put this together a little bit later, and as always I want to say thank you for coming along, and we will see you all about town.